Still. I don't need the headphones.
Is there anything else that can go wrong?
Definitely recording.
Got battery power.
It's actually plugged direct. Yeah. Yep.
I'm Vinay.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is For the Creators.
I've missed it. Even though it's only been a week.
I don't know, it's for some strange reason it feels like there's been a gap, but it's probably because today's Tuesday.
Yeah, and there technically has been a gap as well because we didn't drop an episode.
Yeah, that's it.
This week, so we're a bit. There's been some scheduling problems, but look, it happens. Like we said, we're new, and there's going to be issues along the way.
Well, I just think it's the nature of the people that we're working with as well. Like creatives are very difficult to track down. So
true.
Because trying to get interviews into the diary has been a struggle, but not complaining. We love you.
It's part and parcel, man. It's part and parcel. But like we promised, we have some really cool guests coming up. And we'll always try and get you an episode on a Monday and Wednesday, at least.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So yes, what have you been up to this week, sir?
Again, just working on music, getting into the zone. On that really exciting stuff. Again, I can't really share it properly, but yeah, hopefully I can share some stuff soon. Where are we? We're in June at the moment, aren't we? Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely be able to share some.
Coming to the end of June. How scary is that?
It's crazy.
I feel like summer's finished. It hasn't even started.
Well, this is London, so yeah, you're right.
And I don't think I've been out in the sun enough to actually enjoy it because I've just been in work mode. So
yeah,
please just stick around till September, son. I'm just asking. Just a little favour. An Indian summer won't hurt no one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How about you?
This week, again, it's just been work. Send me off your work. I wish the work was that exciting. I'm literally doing some auditing work at the minute, which is very, 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 very paper heavy, as I sent Ryan a photo today.
Yeah, and when Vanessa says paper heavy, literally, those papers look heavy.
Literally, when you get a task and you look at it, you're just like, when am I going to finish this?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One of those
That's
weeks.
what I've been doing. But yeah, and also just trying to schedule in some more guests for the show so we can get back on track.
Yeah.
Again, we've got really exciting people that we're talking to. It's just getting them into the diary.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's cool.
We don't even have a main takeaway to discuss this week.
No, because usually at this point, as diehard listeners will know, I say diehard, we've been around for more than a month and a half. But yeah, our diehard listeners will know that we kind of analyze our main takeaway from the interview that dropped the episode before. But yeah, obviously we haven't got one this week, so.
But yeah, so I guess we can just jump straight into introducing our guests of the week.
Yeah.
And drum roll.
So we have an amazing artist by the name of Stazzy coming on. Woo-hoo. Yeah, have you got more? Yeah,
so I met Stazzy probably around this time last summer, right?
Yeah, probably about this time.
Yeah, so Stamina, these promoters, they put on a lot of university raves and things like that. Actually be dope to get one of them on the show at some point. But they tend to put on raves. They take students Amsterdam and stuff like that. They've had storms.
They take students to
Amsterdam on a boat.
Sounds like a recipe for.
They have proper
madness.
parties.
No, they have serious parties
serious
Stormzy.
parties.
Everyone performs
it?
at their raves. Yeah, sick.
Boat parties and that.
It's that, amazing.
And that was with Art Meets Music and Stamina, that event that we met at.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So the event that I met Stazzy at was, like he said, Art Meets Music, and it was last summer. It was almost like a little barbecue sort of vibe, and it was
little cookout.
Yeah, it was like a little cookout, and people were there that were just showcasing their clothing and different sort of stuff. And Stazzy was there showcasing his art, and I was just blown away by his pieces because they were so realistic. Because I remember there was one, and if you go on Stazzy's Instagram page, which is Stazzy Art, which is STAZZY Art, you see the piece that I'm referring to. I'll even post it on our Instagram actually tomorrow. But yeah, it's actually amazing what he does. It's
Thank
so like true to life. Like visually, like you look at it and you have to think twice. I was like, did he draw that or is that a photo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was
Sometimes.
another piece of a lion. I don't know what type of art.
Yeah, it was like a
more like
very bright abstract
abstract, yeah.
style piece. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, he's very multifaceted as an artist.
Yeah.
And I know that Ryan likes one in particular.
Yeah.
What's that
So
one?
I wanted to ask you about the Arsene Wenger one.
Oh yeah, I always get asked about this.
Yeah. How did that come about?
Well, I originally had some friends that were doing a photography course with a charity called Wembley to Soweto, which was also doing that same charity with Arsenal. So it was an Arsenal and Wembley to Soweto charity.
Right.
And they were teaching young people how to do photography and stuff. And the director, which is David Westhead of the charity, who's like a TV producer, director, I think, as well, and an actor. He, my friends just said, "Oh, why don't you bring out some art on the day we're gonna go take some photos?" And I just came out with some art and I showed him, and he said, like, at the time, he said, "Oh, your mate was telling me about art and all this," and I was like, "Yeah, sure, just show me whatever." But he said, when I looked at it, I realized, wow, you really are an artist. And then from there, he commissioned me to paint all the photographers on the course for that one. Yeah, so that was pretty good. And Arsenal funded that one. And then from there, just built a relationship and then so on and so forth. And now I'm
Nice.
about 15 commissions deep with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 15 commissions
That's
deep, I'd say.
dope.
So what
I
else have you
don't-
created for them?
A lot of the work I get would be from the community as well. So it'll be like Arsenal and the community, head of Arsenal community. Freddie will get in touch with me usually. And they've got a big presence in our community, Arsenal. Very strong. Everywhere you go, you'll see.
When you say our community.
In Islington.
Right.
So everywhere around Islington, you'll see Arsenal pitches, Arsenal. A lot of my friends are Arsenal coaches and stuff in the community.
Wow.
So they put a lot of people into work and stuff, as well as like working with youth as well.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And
That's why Arsenal are the best, by the way.
this is what I'm saying. It's just such. No, there's
It's more than
Sorry,
football.
there's something in my throat there. not that I'm into football, but I'm sure quite a few of us coughed there.
Well, what can I say? It's my pride and joy. My pride and
Yeah,
joy.
exactly.
What was the question?
It was the Arsene
how
Wenger
did,
piece.
Yeah, how did the Arsene Wenger piece come about?
So yeah, I did that one, and then more commissions came, and then in the end, it was his 20-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So the PR department got in touch with me and said it would be nice if like we could have this huge Arsene Wenger piece, like 5 foot by 5 foot or something. Just do your thing, and they let me creatively just left
That's
the doors
amazing.
open. There was like 20 years at Arsene Wenger. Go for it. I was like, all right, cool. So I tried to incorporate some stuff into it, like all the kits, all the colours of the kits he's had over the
Right.
last 20 years. That's how I made his face and whatnot. The iconic suit that he wears, obviously, I wanted to paint that quite realistic because everyone recognises that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a red bleeding background. And we actually worked with the Arsenal photographer, which is Stuart McFarlane.
Yeah, I follow him on.
Oh,
on
he's the
Twitter.
man. That's
Yeah.
my big brother,
And
man.
Instagram, actually.
Yeah, shout out Stuart, man. He's the man. He literally is the most humble guy for the sort of position he's in. He's just so down to earth, like, and he really showed me a lot. Took me under his wing. I did the photography course myself as well.
Okay.
Afterwards, yeah, after the first time when we met, they put me on the course after that. But yeah, I forgot what it says. Arson knows, it says in the background.
Yeah.
And that was from an iconic picture that Stuart McFarlane had taken of Wenger standing there with his arms out, and in the background there was a big banner of Arsenal
Yes.
knows, all these fans
Yeah,
holding it. So that's where that came from. There's so much in the art that a lot of people probably wouldn't even
Yeah, it's
realise
really,
about.
really layered.
But a lot of people thought it looked like Donald Trump
Oh,
because of the bright blonde hairs. Because I used the kits for the hair and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, of
But
course.
it got really good feedback. Arsene really liked it. He loved it. Like, it was nice to see him smile for once a couple of seasons ago. You know.
Right,
So where
yeah.
is it now?
It should be, as far as I know, it should be in Coney in the training ground, Arsenal training ground. As far as I know.
That's
Nice.
good, man.
Last time I heard, that's where it was. I hope it's still there. They ain't let me visit yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Not yet.
Oh, yeah. We're working on that.
Working on trying to be an
your way up.
ambassador out here.
Bring me.
Come on. I'll get you some games.
yeah.
We'll get some tickets
Come
and go
on,
to some
come on.
games. We've
Ryan's
got a
like-
good relationship.
Yeah,
So
trust
you
me.
know now that we're bridging.
Yeah, come on. Come
No,
on.
that's That's brilliant, man. That's
led
brilliant.
on
For
to
them
some
to let you
amazing things.
to let you do what you want.
Yeah,
Was-
yeah.
yeah.
Openly, creatively, they just said, we love what you do. We've seen different types. You do realistic, you do sort of bright, abstract style work. They know my art can sometimes, at that point in time, was quite pop arty, quite illustrative. And yeah, they like that style. They'll just run with it, just do what you need to do. We'll commission it off you.
And I guess that's
Love
what
that.
you need as a creative. You know, it should be given free reign to do what you want to do.
Like,
Because
it's
sometimes
the
when you're
key.
placed in a box,
Yeah.
and I always find that with even like when I work with graphic designers and stuff, I never try to give them too much instruction because I always feel like their creative minds will always come up with something a
Yeah.
lot better than what I try to prescribe. So that's
There's different
brilliant.
types of clients, isn't there? So there'll be clients that are very specific of what they want, and they've got an image in their mind of exactly what it is they're looking for. But then sometimes you have to speak to them a little bit and just sort of compromise at a point where it's like, look, I understand these colors might suit, and you
Sure.
think it looks nice, but from my professional opinion, I would give you this advice.
Right.
But from then, it's up to them. It's up to them from then. You just
Yeah,
leave it in
yeah.
their hands.
Okay, so
That's a
can
good
we just
story, man.
go right back to the start a little
Go,
bit?
go, all the way back.
Because we kind of like jumped into it a little bit. So
Yeah, straight into
how did
art
you
school.
get into art?
Just like everyone else, pretty much. I've been visually creative my whole life since I was a young boy. I used to do loads of. My earliest memory of drawing was probably the front door of my house. I had a little
On the
desk.
front. I thought he was going to
Yeah.
say on the front.
Oh no, not on the front door. Oh, there was
That's
drawings
where
on the
most-
walls. Yeah, 100%. Graffiti
like,
was
your
a
mum
come up
must
for
have
me.
loved
Yeah,
that.
100%. But yeah, I remember there was an artist. I think it's. I don't want to say Mike Lowry because that's in the Bad Boys film, isn't it?
Mike Larry.
But there was an artist, let's say Lowry. Let's just say Lowry. But he used to do like really massive scenes of like cities with little stick people. And I used to be fascinated by it at the time. And I used to draw all these little cities with all these little people. And yeah, that's my earliest memory. And then I tried to do it in college. College wasn't really for me.
Mhm. So you mean when you tried to do it as like an A level or something? Like
Yeah, so I failed my GCSEs the first time round. Well, I didn't fail. I just wasn't in school much, if I'm honest. So I got some good grades in the things I needed, the A to C in English and stuff, but that was it. So I went back and got a few extra GCSEs, and then did graphic design and art in college, A level. But then unfortunately I wasn't in college much either. But I still managed to get a decent grade with no coursework. I got, I think, a B for art and a C for graphics. I
Okay.
think. Yeah. I really enjoyed like graphic design when I was younger a lot more. I'm very specific and very technical, and I like my lines really clean and stuff like that. So I can be quite finicky about stuff like that. Yeah. So that's probably where the design roots sort of came from.
Right. Okay. So how did that then turn into making bespoke pieces and things like that?
I don't know. I worked in retail for a long time, for a while, like probably about 7-8 years. And then it came to me like, I just can't be doing this my whole life. Like
Yeah.
it was really taking an effect on like my mental stability and stuff like that. And it was too much for me. And I thought, you know what, I've only got a certain amount of time to live my life. Why don't I try and do it sort of with something I enjoy doing? So yeah, I just jacked in the job. Got sacked from a few jobs actually, jacked in a few jobs, and then eventually it was just like, look man, this work thing ain't cut out for you. You just need to stick to the art and just stay with that. But
so you were doing art like in the background anyway, but
well, when I was in retail, I was doing drawings and putting them up on Insta and stuff, but I never really thought I'd get any like proper feedback from it. I always thought it was just nice. It was just nice to, you know, little endorphins. You get the likes come in. It's like, yeah, these are nice. Like, yeah, it was fun for me at the time. It was more like a hobby. But then I realized when people started asking me like, oh, like, I'll pay you for a portrait if you can do that for me by this time and whatever. And then eventually it was just like, now I've got almost too much work sometimes. Like, not all the time, but
Yeah.
yeah, it just built up like that. So
That's amazing,
Instagram
man.
really, yeah.
So Instagram really propelled that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it made me realize that people actually liked what I was doing. So it made me want to challenge myself and try different things and see if people liked that as well. But it's important not to get too sucked into the whole thing, and remain as yourself and be humble and sort of work out your own creative journey. Don't be too influenced by other people, what they're doing, or other people's opinions on what you're doing. You are your own critic.
So where do you draw your creativity from? Like when you sit down to create a piece, is it because I know that you see music visually, so as an artist, is it like an idea just pops into your head and then you just think, I need to create that, or you see something in real life and you think, I want to draw that? And
Sometimes it's a bit of everything, really. I think sometimes I'll see something and I'll be like, wow, that's amazing. Or it will just be colours from something that will make me think, oh yeah, like I could really create something crazy with that. I've done a lot of backgrounds with that, so like when I see certain colours, I'm like, wow, them colours really go together well, and then I'll make a background from it. But my inspiration, I don't know, just my everyday life. I don't particularly look at any specific culture or anything like that. Like I do have paintings of, let's say, grime artists and rappers, but that's just because it's stuff that I'm interested in.
Right.
A lot of the work I do is commissions as well, but at this point I'm trying to cut down the commissions and do more of my own work, so then I can really like express myself creatively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Finding that balance, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. If I can get a balance right and the money's still right, then it's fine. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Basically, yeah.
Are there any artists that you admire, or?
There's a lot of artists that I really admire. There's a lot of artists within like my sort of age group and in the whole Instagram sort of circle that I know. A lot of them are really nice. There's a guy, Joel Ria, who's Australian, I believe. He's amazing. He does like fantasy realistic paintings. So it'll be like I think he gets a lot of inspiration from his dog. So he'll have like a giant version of his dog and he'll be standing next to it, tiny, stuff like this. Really amazing work. At Joel Ria, I would definitely say check him out. He's amazing. There's loads of like young artists as well, but there's almost too many to name. Like out of the circle I'm in, like there's so many artists that are doing great things.
So when you say the circle you're in, is that like more of a like real life, or is there like a network?
Well, it started like on Instagram, you know, just DMing saying, oh, your work's great, like this is amazing. But then the same way that me and you met was like I would meet certain artists at events and be like, oh, you're this person from Insta, I remember you, and then we'll get talking, and then it's almost now like we've got a little community between us.
That's amazing.
Not everyone, but I mean like there's quite a few of us that get along quite well. Everyone's trying to push the scene. Picasso.
Do you remember Picasso? Zucker's,
Picasso.
Picasso.
Yeah, that's my guy, man.
See him?
Yeah, I see him at a lot of events. He's often involved.
Him one as well.
Yeah, definitely should. Yeah, he's a good artist, man. He's amazing.
Because he does. I remember he did a piece with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Was there like a gun in Donald Trump?
Yeah, in his mouth.
In his mouth. Like, but he does like a lot of like political art.
Yeah,
But,
he's amazing, man. He's gonna
he's
be a top artist.
Yeah.
I can put my money on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a top man.
What makes a top artist?
Oh man, that's a broad one. That
Yeah.
one.
No, the reason I say that is because, like, as a bystander, like, I can look at your art and I can look at someone who's got 10 million followers, their art, and it's comparable. So, what would it take? What does it take for you to?
I think art it's a matter of opinion, isn't it? It's quite personal. So, I don't know. Me and you might not like the same thing. I'm sure we do, but we might not. We might not like the same things and interpret the same things the same way.
Sure.
So art's all down to preference and opinion, interpretation. Exactly. There's so many different ways around. Like I was saying about the Wenger piece, for instance, a lot of people wouldn't know the reasoning behind a lot of it, but I know, and Wenger knows.
Yeah,
But I
and
think
Arsenal
that's
fans know.
with creativity in general.
Yeah.
It's like when you make a song, like you might hear one beat one time, and then the next time you listen to it, you hear something. Even with the lyrics, you hear something one time, and then the next time, even with films, like how many times do you watch a film and see something completely new that you've never seen before?
All the time. All the time.
It's really just down to interpretation.
Basically, yeah. But I think, I don't know, the reason of me saying that about Picasso is that he's well driven and he's on top of it.
Right.
He knows what he wants to do. He's got his own sort of, as you said, he's got a political sort of style.
Yeah.
Which is it's good to have a style. I'm still sort of searching here and there a bit. You can tell some of my paintings are leading a certain way, but I think it's all progression. I think at this point where I am now, I'm doing everything I can to improve my ability, so I can then create the paintings that I want to create.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
So you're just like developing your craft.
Yeah. So I might spend a lot of time. I spent a lot of time doing color theory, like teaching myself color theory and stuff for about 6 months, just to do one certain type of piece I was feeling.
And how did you do that? Was it via like YouTube or
YouTube, playing with color on the palette, like actually getting colors out and mixing them yourself and seeing what you can come up with. Watching documentaries, stuff like that as well. Yeah, reading books, just anything that will teach you. Like I said, I'll be walking past something on the street, I'll be like, wow, them colors really go well together. I wonder why that is.
Right.
And then looking into things more, cool, warm colors, things like that. And yeah, I think it's all just a progression. And for me, it's like my career from when I've started to now is a big portfolio that I don't actually have access to because I don't have all the paintings and stuff. But I feel like it shows progression from the beginning to the end. And you can see how I've got there through each piece, if that makes sense.
Well, I think that's just life in general. You learn from your past experiences, and each time that you create something, you look back and you think, oh, how can I do that a little bit better? And how can I improve upon that? Even though to us it may be excellent, because I always feel like we're our own biggest critic.
Definitely.
So someone might be like, oh my God, that's amazing. But then you look at it, well, I could have like straightened that up a little bit there. And you know what I mean?
There's so much.
It's just constant growth. And I think like you have to be open to that, because if you think you're perfect, then you kind of get into the ego zone.
It's a constant journey, I think.
Yeah.
It's this constant, you'll always be improving, you'll always be getting better at it. It's just about, the most important thing I think I've learned is patience. Because that's why I wouldn't get a lot of these things done the way I would before. It's because I don't want to spend so much time doing this. It's a painting and it's all long. But then I was like, wow, I can actually paint. Like, I might as well try and paint something good. Do you know what I mean? And then spending a bit more time on it. But patience is definitely something I've learned. 100%.
Yeah, that's a good bit of advice, I think. Because it's easy to, especially when you're under pressure, to rush and...
Pressure works for me, you know. Pressure really, really, really works for me. Like, I've got an event in 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm about halfway through the piece that I've got to do for it. Yeah. But I've literally had months to do it. I've had months to do it. But in these last 4 days, I've got 2 days left. I'm well happy at the point it is right now. Dope. I'm really happy, and I think it will be done in time. And I'm the sort of guy that will stay up till 6 a.m. the next morning to make sure it's done. Once actually that happened with Arsenal. They commissioned a Ramsey piece of him scoring a goal, his celebration in 2014 for the FA Cup final. Yeah. And I literally stayed up. They had to collect it at 9 a.m. to take it to Coney, to the training ground. And I literally stayed up all night, and I finished the final touches at like 8:30. Got on the bus, went down to the Emirates, gave it over to them, and then just went home and slept for the rest of the day.
Wow, look at that.
That really works for me. I don't know why. I think
it works for most people, to be honest. It's like if you're at university, you've had like 3 months to write this essay, but then the night before you're up doing it.
Yeah, focuses you.
It's that urgency that makes you get it done.
I'm only like that with things that I love, though, because I probably at uni, this is me personally, at uni I probably wouldn't have. I would have just been like, no, I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. But because I enjoy it and I love it and I want to make it right and I want the people that I'm giving it to enjoy it and it to be perfect for them, I've got to make sure I have. And
that's the thing with art. Like once you've handed it over, that's it,
man.
And then that's your name, that's your reputation. You know, that's your work, that's your art. So.
I hate giving art away. I hate it.
I was going to ask you that question as well, because like I design websites, and one thing I was saying to Ryan is I find that when it's time to hand it over, like sometimes when I build a website, I don't even go and look at it again, especially when you give it over to the person and you know they've made changes, and it's like
yeah, so that's like a living piece of art.
That's what baby, what have you done? I'm very particular as well, because I like things to like straight lines and like the right amount of words and
the right fonts.
And the right fonts, and then when they like
put their own
take
twang
it
on
and-
it. Yeah.
And then because they haven't spent that much time with it, it's literally like having a child and giving your child up for
Yeah.
adoption.
It's-
And you just kind of have to just let go. So how do you cope with that?
Oh man. I don't think I cope with it. I'm still missing loads of paintings that I wish I had at my house. But I don't know, you just have to keep in mind that it's not for you, it's for someone else. When it's ones I've created myself, like not commissions, I've just painted something and I've put it out there to be sold or seen by people, that's when it really hurts, because it's like, oh man, like I really don't want to let this go. And sometimes that's how you got to think about it, and that's how that can help with pricing and stuff as well. Like, would I prefer this amount of money, or would I prefer to keep the piece myself?
Which takes us nicely into
the-
this week's topic.
Yeah, topic of the week. How
Yeah.
did we word the topic of the week?
Should artists receive royalties if their paintings are sold on? So, what's your view on that?
I see that there wasn't Swiss Beats saying something about this
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
I haven't looked into the. I should have looked more into it.
Because the kind of angle that we're coming from is like if you've created a piece and you sell it on to someone for say £1,000, and then later on you find that person sold it on, so you sell it to them now. 10 years from now, you're a huge, amazing star. They then sell that on for 10,000 or 1,000,000 or whatever. You don't receive anything for that. So
Oh, it's a difficult one. I see where Swiss is coming from, but there's arguments for both sides, isn't there? So it's like, if I've created the painting, then I can always reproduce prints and stuff, can't I? So
True.
I can always sell prints, and that's how I'll continue making my money off that painting, for instance.
Right.
But I don't know, would that take away from, like, I just don't know. It's a bit of a difficult one.
Because obviously the prints are never going to get the same amount of money that the original would.
Of course,
Especially
but-
if it becomes a massive...
This is the thing,
important piece.
if the artist blows up and then the
Yeah.
pieces, but then you kind of have to honour the fact that you sold it to them at a time when you wasn't popping so much.
True.
Do you know what I mean? So that would be like the other side of the argument would be, yeah, like you decided to sell it at that time. It was your own choice. Yeah, it's an interesting topic. There's ways there's ways around certain things. Like, I'm sure certain artists probably have like contracts written up that if the piece is then to be sold on, that they should get some sort of royalties for it. I'm sure that's something that artists could do. Whether there's a lot of artists or a lot of artists know about doing it is a different story. I don't know.
because also Ellen DeGeneres' wife, she's got a company called General Republic. So General Public, and what they do is they try and create it. It's like this 3D technology that they've created, which makes it look almost exactly like the original piece.
What, painting?
Yeah.
Okay,
Like the
yeah.
original painting,
I think
all
I've
with the
seen
brush
something like
strokes and
this. Yeah.
everything like that. And then they sell that on, and then artists can receive royalties.
That's what her company does. That's the main base of that company.
That's the base of the company.
Because I saw something about this robot arm that even mimics the strokes of like old
Yeah.
masters and stuff like that.
Really?
That's
yeah,
what
like
it does. Like, it's the proper technology that they've created. So it looks almost identical to the original piece. And
as
then
if
they
it was
sell
painted
on-
by the
if
same
it was
artist
painted
as
by-
well.
Yeah.
No, but this is the thing. It's like, again, it's preference is something created by a robot the same thing as something that was hand created.
I was thinking that because obviously with AI and machine learning and stuff, if a piece of software or a robot studies, let's say, Picasso, and studies it like no one ever could, and then starts recreating pieces from the quote unquote mind of Picasso, like this
Right.
robot could make new Picasso pieces. Do you know what I mean?
But
Like,
isn't that what separates us from robots, though? The fact that they're not creative in that sense.
Yeah,
to create
yeah, they're not
something
drawing from their
original.
own.
They don't have their own
Even
choice.
if they were to create something, it would still be so similar to something that, say, Picasso has already created. It wouldn't necessarily be original, whereas human beings have the
maybe it
ability-
doesn't have the ability to change its mind.
Yeah, it doesn't have the ability to change its mind or to think outside of the box.
We already have this in a smaller form. Like, the reason Picasso started, well, one of the reasons Picasso started painting the way he paints, you know, the abstract
Yeah.
faces and stuff, was because of the development of photography. Because if we're talking about technology versus art, I could paint a landscape, but you could always just take a picture. Do you see what I'm saying? You could just take a picture and put that up on your wall, no?
Yeah.
That's true.
Right. It's the human element. It's what's gone into the art, I would say. I reckon that's part of it.
Definitely.
I would say, because that, again, that's one of the reasons why he changed it. How am I meant that his thinking was, how am I meant to compete with something that can produce the exact image?
Yeah.
If I'm trying to be a realism painter. So that's why he took a next approach, view the world from different angles.
Wow.
Drew inspiration from traditional African art.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? He done all this stuff to try and change the pattern of art and the way art was headed, and this is why he's renowned.
Love that.
Nice.
I'm learning so much.
You see that though, but
Yeah.
it's the same thing on a different. So this new arm that can paint exactly like whoever, we've already got that, but just like on a much less technical scale in a sense.
That's true, because photography came after art, because obviously
Of course.
Yeah.
you're trying to reproduce something
There you
that
go.
is in real life by painting it. But then photography came along. That's true.
Yeah.
It's
So if
funny.
everyone's doing the
Because obviously
realism,
I've been born into this time where there's always been photography,
Yeah.
so I've never even
Considered,
thought about
yeah.
it in that way. So that's
see what I
really
mean?
cool.
yeah, I think the going back to the thing about being an artist, I think it's about challenging the norms and perceptions. Also, what was I going to say? I would say like I can't remember now. But
That
yeah,
happens to me all the time.
it's like you got to keep challenging the norms and finding a way like graphic design to communicate something without fully having to say it. This is why I don't like to write on my paintings. This is one thing.
In terms
Yeah.
of
I don't like putting writings on my paintings unless there was writing in the original photo. The only one I've really done it with is the Wenger, because
the those, yeah.
I want to be able to say it without writing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do it visually with no writing. There's ways around it, I'm sure. But
Have you ever done a piece, maybe something, have you ever done like an abstract piece and you thought it was like, you drew it as something specific and then someone interpreted it a completely different way to what you...
See, the abstract, I don't really... when I do my abstract, it's more, there is a focus and there is a subject. So like the lion, that's actually a tiger. That one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, this is funny because...
Is it a tiger?
Yeah, it's a tiger. It's a tiger.
See?
At
There
the
you go.
at the event beforehand, see, but this is the thing. The event before that, I was showing someone's girlfriend around, and I was saying, yeah, like, this is my painting, and she was like, oh, like, it's great, but what is it? It was the tiger painting, and she was like, but what is it? I was like, well, you can't see it. She was like, no. I was like, take a few steps back and have a look at and see what you can see. And she took a few steps back, and then she was like, oh, like, it's a lion, yeah. And I was like, well, it's a tiger, but yeah, all right, cool, fair enough. At least you got it, you can see it. And yeah, I like that idea of being able to see it from different things, and like you said, see new things every time. And I like the fact that she enjoyed the painting without knowing that it was a tiger or lion. She just enjoyed the colours and the shapes, and so that was quite nice. Everyone can always interpret things differently, you know.
yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about art.
Yeah,
And obviously as well, like you said, you don't want to put words on your art because also like from a language perspective, it would limit it, wouldn't it?
that's how I feel right now. I mean, in 10 years' time, my whole art style might change.
True,
and-
yeah, yeah.
But at this very current point in time, yeah, I wanna be able to say it without saying it. I want to be able to show it without speaking about it. I want to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Have you ever done any art that can be deemed controversial? You know, like how we were talking about Picasso,
Uh,
and he does all the political arts.
Oh.
Do you ever do anything that sort of...
no, I did recently do I guess you could say it's political. It's more a piece against racism. We did like a thing with Loud Creative and Kick Racism Out of Football, that campaign. And they approached me with this idea about doing, like there was an incident on the train in Paris in 2015 where some Chelsea fans weren't letting a black man on the train.
Yeah.
And they started chanting, oh, we're racist, that's the way we like it, whatever. Disgusting behaviour anyway. So we wanted to put a spin on it, and we spoke a few times about how we could make a visual piece that sort of explains this. So we decided, why don't we make the black guy Drogba instead? Would the Chelsea fans be treating their star the same way? And in my opinion, I guess, yeah, because if you're ignorant enough to judge anyone on their skin color, then you must be ignorant enough to do it to a star or whatever. That surely doesn't matter then, does it? So we did this whole painting and recorded a little video for it and stuff. So that should be coming out soon. But that's probably
cool.
as conceptual as I've got. There are a few pieces I've done, but really, like I said, that's the way I'm heading. Right now, I'm just trying to make myself have the ability to create it the way I want to create it.
Right. So do you feel that you have like a particular message that you want to get across in your art?
Loads. I really want to like touch on youth culture and society from where I've come from. So from like an estate growing up, etc. But I want to communicate in a whole different way, like metaphorically, but realistically at the same time. It's one of them things that I think within the next 5 years I'll be able to develop this and create a whole bunch of amazing pieces that will be able to communicate this stuff. This is what I want to be able to do.
Yeah.
Are you going to move to the point where you have like an art display or like an actual show? Have you ever done a full show of all of your work?
Oh,
in
what,
one
like a
place?
solo show?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I'm actually in the middle of planning one right now.
Nice. Need to
Oh,
invite
yeah.
us down.
Of course, you guys are definitely invited. Yeah, man, it's going to be wicked. Hopefully at the end of the year. I don't want to say too much, but it's the plan that I've got. We're going to make it happen. Yeah.
Is it going to have a particular theme or is it just going to be a display of all your work to date?
It's not going to be a display of all my work. Most of my work I haven't got. Like I said, most of the work I do is commission based. So once it's done, it's gone. Yeah. But it will be all original paintings. There might be a few that people have seen before, but I'm not planning to post them or anything. I just want it to be a real, like, you know, a night where you have to come down and see someone and speak to someone face to face and talk to them and learn a bit more about what I do.
Yeah.
It will have a sort of theme, I guess. It will be one for the culture. Let's say that.
Yeah.
It'll be one for the culture. Yeah.
So, love that. Love that.
Nice.
I can't wait.
I feel that art is so much about the context, and I'm even getting that now. Like, you learn so much about the reason behind it, and then it makes you look at the piece of art, and you're seeing something else, and it's like, oh, wow, okay.
Because
It's
you can
not
just take
what
it
I
as
see.
face value, right?
Yeah, exactly. And done an episode with True Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
Who's like mad into art.
Oh, he's
and
mad.
I learned so much from that as well.
I bet.
Learned a lot from that, and I think like these conversations, like every time I'm getting more and more into art now.
I think art and music's very synonymous, man. I think it's like it's your baby, like you were saying. It's something you want to look at. If you've got a talent or some sort of entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. You got your own little business, something. It's your baby, innit? So you just got to spend time on it, care for it, help it grow.
Yeah.
And then it will develop naturally.
For real.
Have you ever tried to paint? Because
Yeah.
you said that you see things visually first.
Yeah.
So there must be an artist inside of you.
Yeah,
as
no,
well.
I did art in school. So in school, you're only allowed to pick what do they call it? Two out of the 3 arts you do. In like year 7 to 9, you do music, art, and drama.
Yeah.
And then when you get to GCSE, they made me pick 2. I wanted to do all 3. I picked music and drama at the time. But before that, I'd
You was
been
into
doing my
art.
art and stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
But for me, I find that I can literally copy anything, like anything I see.
Rough.
But doing it from my mind, it's like,
Yeah.
you want to see abstract?
No, it's difficult, man.
Yeah, but my brother, my brother's an insane artist
Yeah.
in terms of like just drawing anything, like nuts.
From
He's
the top
he's
of
a
his
tattoo
head.
artist, but he's also anything, sketches, designs.
So if you asked him to draw something with no reference, he could just
do
draw it. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I can never do that. I can never do that. But if I sat down and looked at something, I can copy it, like realism.
Again, it's patience, isn't it? It's patience and focusing in and honing in.
I do need to get back into it.
Why
actually,
not?
just as a form of meditation,
It might
because
even
therapy,
enhance
man.
your
Focus.
creativity, for
Yeah.
music.
for real, start doing my own art.
You know, like if you're making a beat, or like you're listening to a song, sometimes it will sound great, but you need to take 5 minutes and come back and listen to it, because then you realize, hold on, it's just the repetitive beat pattern that is making me nod my head and think
Yes.
this is actually
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Like I need to come back to it, and
Yeah.
and it's the same with art, man. You got to take a step back sometimes, come back. But it's like you said, it's a meditation, it's a therapy. For me, it's I find that.
Yeah.
I'm happier than I've ever been in my whole life now.
Wow.
I tell people that all the time. Yeah, I'm happy.
And how long have you been focused on art, or just on its own, without
Probably-
being in like a retail job or anything?
Without being in a job, probably about. I would say in all it's been about 2.5 years, but somewhere within that time, I had to pick up a job for a while.
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
at home, you
Yeah,
know, like that
of
side
course.
to make
I
a little
think that's
extra
important
money.
for people to hear as well.
Of
because,
course, yeah.
You know,
I think that's
on-
one of the main questions if we've got any artists listening to this. So how do you monetize your craft? It's like, how do you earn from being an artist?
I've been like, I think you need loads of avenues. If personally, I haven't got all the avenues yet, but I think you should have your hands in a few different pies. Like if you're an artist, you could do some logo design and stuff as well. Make sure when you got merchandise, stuff like that. So if you've got like prints, you can not just have prints, maybe you want tea mugs as well and little beer coasters or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got to keep all your options sort of open and find new creative ways to sort of monetize it.
Yeah.
My work mostly comes through my Instagram. Mostly, yeah. And I haven't even got that many followers. This is the mad thing. It's mostly Instagram or like word of mouth. Someone I know knows someone else who knows someone like that. And
Yeah.
Arsenal.
that helps.
Yeah, definitely. Arsenal, they come to me a lot for work, man. Within a month or two, they always come to me with another job.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Man.
That's really good.
That's
So it's
really
also
good.
about building relationships as well and maintaining those relationships. Because if you get a
100%.
good customer like Arsenal,
Mm.
then at
course.
least you know every month,
Yeah.
not guaranteed, but more than likely you're gonna be
Yeah.
commissioned to do something.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
really amazing. But I really love the point of keeping your options open.
Yeah.
You know, because I think people and artists, upcoming artists, tend to romanticize, like, I'm going to do this one thing and that's it. But don't really see the full picture of that one thing has different aspects
Yeah.
to it.
It's a job. Well, it's like the same way a musician will get T-shirts for their tour and
Right.
all this merchandise and stuff you can buy. And really, it's not every day you sell an original painting. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to have some sort of income coming in from somewhere.
There
I
you
do
go.
some logos here and there. I don't really like doing it. I'm sort of trying to drop it out now and find another way. I have started to get prints and things like that. And I've started to sell masks. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
the masks are selling fast, man. I love selling the masks. That's amazing for me.
Yeah, I might have to get one, actually.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Just give me a shout. It's there.
Yeah, I'm going to support the cause for sure.
Yeah,
I've been
man.
wanting one of them, actually.
Well, we're gonna see it at my next show, and the next show will be the first one since I've been selling them, and quite a lot of people have bought them. So I wonder how many
Is
in
it?
the crowd are gonna have like a
Wow.
Stasi mask. Yeah, I want to take a picture with one. We'll
Is that
see.
what it's called as well?
What?
Stasi
Stasi
mask.
mask.
This is my Stasi mask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my Stasi specialized. Can't get nowhere else in the world
Love
except
that.
from me.
There you
And they've
go.
got special 2018 edition. We've got gold tooth on there.
Yeah,
now
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
We'll put up a link to the
Stunting.
picture so you guys can see what we're talking about. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to have to get a few of them, actually. I know my nephews are going to want one.
They're there,
Yeah.
man. They're there.
For sure. Oh, man. I've
So-
Yeah.
learned a lot. Learned a lot so far.
Definitely. What does the future hold for Stazzy apart from your show? Because I know that you mentioned that you're in a film.
Oh yeah, I've actually got a few things going on. So I gave my artwork, like I said before we met up. I've given my artwork for a music video. Maybe I shouldn't say too much, but for a music video for someone in the UK scene, that should be coming out soon. But I work heavily with the youth, especially in my area, and we produced a short film, should be about 20 minutes, half an hour long, of just sort of. Well, we worked with the youths and they came up with this script and this idea of what it should be and what the ends are like and growing up
Nice.
around there, etc. And yeah, it's not so cliche as everything else. It's called Drawn Out. They just wanted to make the point of sort of, and it's good that these young people are making this point as well of like being yourself and not getting drawn into situations that sort of don't
definitely.
involve you or you don't need to be involved in, and just knowing who you are as a person. It's called Drawn Out. That should be out in the next couple of months.
Where's that going to be?
It will just be on YouTube, I
Oh,
think.
perfect, yeah.
But we did that with Ambitious Academy, who supply us with like all the connections with the youth and stuff. I'm part of Ambitious Academy, and Fully Focused, who are a video production team. They do a lot of work with youth as well.
Cool.
And Arsenal funded it as well.
Really?
Nice.
Again, yeah, they do amazing things in the community. They've helped us open the community centre. We've got sessions running
Need to
there
move our
twice a
podcast
week.
to the Highbury.
Man, if you
Well, the creators coming to Highbury real
you get the
soon.
good connection with Arsenal, you're in, man. I've had so much good times with Arsenal, honestly.
Yeah, I might have to get in contact with them for real, though, because they're doing so much great community work. But I mean, obviously they showcase that. But I mean, I'm a avid Arsenal fan. I wasn't aware that they do.
They do
that
so
level.
much. They even host, like, in the Arsenal community hub, which is right next to the stadium. They host. They have mothers and fathers and stuff that come in, parents of children who've been murdered and stuff.
Oh wow!
They even got sessions in there where they can go in and speak, and just they gave them a space just to be there, to have some other people to talk to and stuff. And mainly that's where that's a lot of where my commission work comes from Arsenal as well, is often parents who have lost children, is to paint their child. And I mean, it's not the best reason to.
I think I saw one
you
of
know?
those on your profile.
Well, I've got loads.
The guy in blue, I remember
Yeah,
it in blue,
yeah.
like a blue suit.
That's
Yeah.
important work, though, man. That's
That was for
memorialising.
Arsenal as well. A lot of the commissions I get for Arsenal I used to do with, like, parents grieving and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow.
It's sad, but this is why
But
they've got
it's-
such a heavy presence in the community, not just with the youth, but with the adults and parents and stuff as well. I really speak well for them, don't I? They should make me
you
an
should be
ambassador.
Yeah, really
I
should,
think
yeah.
so too. I really think so too.
Arsenal, if you're listening.
We have to
Yeah,
send
great.
this to
We'll
Stuart.
tag them. We'll have to tag Arsenal.
Emery, I'm
Yeah.
here. When you're
Yeah,
ready,
yeah, exactly.
quick signing.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
Man.
man, they're really good.
But side note, this is Arsene Wenger has now left Arsenal. For people that
yeah.
don't follow football, he's been there for over 22 years.
22 years. I got a piece coming for that as well.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
It's not for him though, but yeah.
But in his kind of closing remarks before he left, he said that the next manager has to retain the values of the club, and on and off the pitch.
Damn right.
And when you're saying off the pitch, this is what Stazzy's talking about, because
Yeah.
there's so much work in the community, and it's
It's a
astounding,
lot.
really.
It's an everyday job for them. Like, I see the head of the community. He is constantly working so hard to make sure there's more and more things for people to do.
That's
Like,
really good, because it's
very
better
inclusive.
than just like plonking a stadium in the middle of somewhere and
Yeah.
never contributing to it.
The hub
Yeah.
is literally next door. They've even got a pitch in there that they bring youth in there to play football in.
Wow.
stuff
Because
like
I went
that.
to London Met and I didn't even know that all of that went on in the stadium. So literally, I went to university
Oh,
right
yeah,
next
just
to
in front
it.
of you.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's just-
I didn't even know that they did all of that. I just always saw football. Like you don't think
They do a
but
lot.
it makes sense that they're doing all of that in the community because give back.
You've got to give back to your
are.
supporters,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, 100%. They do a great job at it as well. Great job.
Love that.
Amazing.
Amazing. Well, I've learned so much from you today, man. It's been a great conversation.
No
We've got a
problem.
couple more questions. One of them is there any like quote or any like mantra that you live by?
Oh, a girl I used to work with in retail. I'll never forget this either. I never forgot this. She just told me when I first started doing the little drawings on Instagram, she just took me to the side. She was like, listen, you just got to have hard work, faith and consistency and you'll be fine. And I don't know why, but them three words,
Just stuck.
yeah, they stuck with me for a long time now. And I
Hard
always-
work, faith, and consistency.
Yeah, because you got. I work very hard. I work very hard. As much as people think you might just sit there and do a little painting or whatever, I do work very hard, and I have faith in my craft, and I have faith that I'll get better at it, and I have faith that people will enjoy what I do, and then you've got to be
Consistency, just
consistent.
doing it over and
Yeah.
Over again,
Yeah.
trial and error, keep it running. But that's literally, I don't know how that became my mantra, but it's also, I don't know. She
It's
just told me that
amazing.
one time, this girl, and it
How
just stuck
people
with
come
me.
into your life for reasons, and she came to give you that message.
Definitely.
So, and that's an
Shout out
amazing
Thelma,
one.
actually. I haven't seen her in years. Honestly, I haven't worked with her in about 8 years.
Yeah.
But just for them words, that really helped me. Yeah, I've stuck with that. That stuck with me for
Amazing.
a long time.
Yeah, one thing you say to someone can stick with them.
Literally.
It's
That's
amazing.
a good one as well.
I like that.
Hard work, faith, and consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah. And you can even marry faith with patience, like you were saying before.
Again, patience would definitely, I would throw that in there as well, even because that's 100%. Things ain't going to work for you overnight. Like even these, let's say these social media comedians and stuff, everyone thinks, oh, they just come up overnight.
Right.
No, they've been working at this for a long
been at it for a
time.
while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like people, you have to give people credit where it's due. If they've been working, give that man some
But
credit.
most
or
people
woman.
only, and that's why it's important to have these conversations, because people will see. Because, for example, we're spotlighting you now. 10 years from now, we can look back at this conversation and see, oh, Stazzy's been doing this for a very long time.
But it's even nice for us to talk and for me to say it, it's nice for me to remind myself, you know? So conversations and reasoning like this is always good because it just jogs your memory about where you are morally as a person,
Yes.
your values,
And your
etc.
why.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Which is why we love doing this.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's
love
nothing
doing
nothing
this.
beats doing something that you love.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but even talking to you, because this week I've been feeling down, and having this conversation with you has made me feel like, let's get back on it.
good. No, that's the
Because
point.
it just shows you that, because sometimes it can be, like, being an entrepreneur could be so lonely.
Okay.
And you just get trapped in this little box of all you're doing is just work. And
Yeah.
often there's not a lot of reward when you're just starting out. So having this conversation with you and seeing that patience is important,
So important.
consistency is important, faith is important, because, you know, you kind of have to believe in things that are not there.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really easy to get stuck in your own head in this sort of thing, like, and just stress about things. But it's important to take a break, man. Just take a break. If you need a break, just take a break.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important. When you need that time, don't stress about it. Just take a break, man. Just relax. Life's
Very
not
good
that
advice.
deep, man. Life's not that deep. It's very deep, but yeah, you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's very good advice. Very good advice.
Love
I
it.
love that, man. I love this episode, man. I love this episode. So where can people follow you and find you?
Stazzy Art on everything. I should have a website hopefully soon. I've been saying that for about 2 years. But yeah, Stazzy Art on every social media.
Dope. Cool.
Should we ask the final question?
What's the
If
final
you can
question?
speak to your 10
Oh,
year
yeah.
old self.
Oh wow.
Yeah. If you
That's a good
knowing what you know now. If you could jump back to speak to your 10-year-old self.
Man, but my
What would you
10-year-old
say?
self wouldn't have listened at all, man. I would have to find a way to speak to him to say, yo, please just heed what I'm saying. Heed the gravity of what I'm saying, please. I would tell him to be more focused on being himself and not worrying about impressing other people, and focus on what you love doing. I think that would be the key thing, because away from art, it's not just art, like within my life. I think that's the advice I would give to my 10-year-old self. Be yourself, be your own man, take things on the chin, and keep it moving, man. That's the advice I'd give myself.
Amazing.
Love it. It's a great episode, man.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed
You
having
know, I
you,
get me
Stazzy.
really gassed about this. Thank you for having me. This has
thank
been
you.
amazing.
Thank you for coming.
I love a reasoning, man. I
Yeah,
love a reasoning.
Us too. Well, cool. Hopefully we have you back we've got other episodes that we do as well, so definitely want to showcase your work.
It would be nice to do a Snapchat, because one of the things that I saw on Instagram recently, and it's something that I really wanted to bring into our Instagram profile, was showing people how to draw. So there was different. It was small things like how to create an eye
Okay, yeah.
or how to create a nose. So I feel like some things like that would be very useful to even do a snapshot with you. So it's just showing that the basics of creating a face.
Yeah. I've
Something
got
like
something like that on my Instagram already, actually.
Oh, is it?
Really?
You got the new story highlights.
Yes.
So I've got like a little Stazzy art tips.
Yeah, it would be
Okay.
dope to have you in to do something like that,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
especially now that we've got IGTV and we want to obviously develop our Instagram page, so our YouTube channel, sorry, it would be good to have those sort of like, because our whole thing is to excite, enlighten, elevate and educate.
Okay,
So it would
nice.
be good to have you in for that educate element of things.
sure.
So young artists up and coming, just the fundamentals of drawing or choosing colours and colours that work well together and things like that. So it will be it'll be dope to have you to do something like that.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
up for it. You've got to pass this on to the future generations. That's the way I see it. I've loads of young artists that get in touch with me on Instagram and stuff, talk about loving my work and I've inspired or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, man, I think it's important to give them that boost they need, man. give them the boost and show them, help them out, you know. That's for all the artists out there. If any young artists are messaging you asking about techniques and help, spare a little 2 minutes, man. It's no problem. You know what I mean?
Dope. We need to definitely talk about that once
definitely.
after this conversation. But it would
sure.
be dope to have you, you know, get filmed doing something like that we can educate the youth.
Yeah, definitely.
Lovely. Well, yeah, tune in for that soon, for sure. If you can, please, if you enjoyed this episode as much as us, please give us a rating on Apple Podcasts, on iTunes. 5 star. Don't know. And a review, because the reviews help the show get discovered. So please do that. Follow us on @ForTheCreators Podcast if you're not already doing so. It's not your average Instagram profile.
It's amazing. Check it out. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there's a lot of value to be had there. So definitely jump on there.
Also, we're on Google Podcasts now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you're on Android, you can catch us on Google Podcasts as well.
Exactly.
So we're happy.
51% of the world use Android. Don't know why.
CCTV cameras.
But yeah, now you can catch us on Google Podcasts. So yeah, make sure you rate us on there as well.
Definitely. We're on all major podcast platforms. So if Google Podcasts is not, you know, the usual platform that you'd use, you can also find us on Apple Podcasts.
SoundCloud, Stitcher.
Everywhere, really. We're aiming for Spotify.
Yeah, we're waiting. We're in
Son.
we're in the queue.
That's
we're in
the
queue.
goal.
Yeah, we're in the queue.
Yeah, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. We've been receiving really good feedback from you guys, and you know we appreciate feedback because that's how we improve and that's how we learn to make this a better platform for you. If you have any topics that you'd like to hear us discussing, then please let us know. If there's any creatives that you'd like to see on the show, here on the show, please let us know as well. We're on episode 17 now.
I've lost count.
We're on
That's
episode
mad.
17.
Episode 17.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so it's been an amazing journey so far, and we're just so happy to be on this journey with you. So remember to follow, subscribe, comment, review, and share, because you know sharing's caring.
Sharon's caring. Cool. Love, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.